Okay, I woke up, had water, did push-ups, had a half warm, half cold shower. I woke up in the middle of the night and I don't know, I just felt like a spiritual inclination. So I read the Bible and I felt like a just like for a couple seconds, for like a unspoken like love or something, I don't know. Then what did I do after that? I had a really productive morning. Then I had breakfast. And then I had to do some chores, like cleaning up and picking up some boxes. I think I woke up like 6:30. It's like 8 o'clock now. Yeah. It's like 8, it's 9 o'clock. And yeah, I uploaded the video. I spent quite a while trying to get a thumbnail. Now I'm gonna bike to school. An hour and a half bike ride. 35K. I was gonna yesterday, but then I never did. I should've. Yeah. Today, I'm feeling decent. God. The thing I'm most happy about today, and satisfied about, is the fact that, like, I'm not, like, drained of energy. Probably because I'm not jerking off. I'll admit that shit on camera. I don't care. Like, that's probably the most embarrassing thing, but I haven't done that shit in so long. And I see other guys and they just get drained of energy from that. I'm just not. I just have higher testosterone now. Bro, I'm 35 kilometers away from home on my bike. Class was canceled. I don't care though. Did I pass by my school? Bro, where my freaking crash was? And I literally just passed it. Yeah, I'm just gonna explore Cloverdale now because I'm here. Let's go. Bro, this is actually crazy. Okay. We're just vlogging in public. I'm just gonna bike around, even though that's not like the smartest thing to do. My good. Driving here is low-key sketchy. I'm not even saying driving, I'm saying biking. I'm gonna start heading back. But like these skyscrapers, like look at them, like bro, this is crazy. Vancouver's just too far. I just don't have the time to do that. I gotta get schoolwork done. I got business to handle. You know, freaking big boy. They're getting the SkyTrain done as well. Like they're getting the SkyTrain done in Langley. I really do not want it. They're just gonna bring all the drug addicts from Vancouver to Langley. Langley is pretty nice how it is right now. Langley is pretty nice. Nicer than this. Like this is like probably the nicest part of Surrey. Like everything other than this area is just complete trashy. But yeah, like look at these. Look at this. Just skyscrapers. Okay, I just wanted to do like a voiceover here, bro. This is probably the most fried I've ever felt in my entire life. And like for like the rest of today, I didn't even chill. Like after this, I ended up filming an entire new piece of content for another channel. And another thing I did was I went in the hot tub and I read. I organized like everything. But I went to bed like pretty much right after this. I ate dinner afterwards. Bro, I can't eat. and I read for like a really long time. But this is safe to say like the most cooked I've ever felt. Like my brain was fried. My muscles were fried. Everything felt like it was a cracker. I literally felt like a piece of chips. So like, just be aware that like consciousness is slipping away. But like, yeah, like collecting my words in this moment was just super hard thing to do. Oh, what a date! What a way to start the video. I'll get this back up. I can barely balance myself fully. Got back from Surrey. I think I have 20 plus 20. I think I've literally gone 75. I literally biked 75 kilometers today. First thing I did was I went Cloverdale. Figured out school was cancelled. Then I struck south near the US border, but then I realized the US border was nothing there on Google Maps. So I struck north. I struck south and I saw Vancouver from the distance, I think. And then I went north, and northly was Surrey, eastern Surrey. So I went to East Surrey. I went to Waffle House too, and I also went to Waffle. I approached a girl. She said no, but she liked it, you know. Like she was all good about it, respected it. What else? I went back on Fraser. I had to go through a bunch of construction zones. I learned what a detour was, which I hadn't before. Realized my phone was on the entire time. I don't have auto lock, so my phone died. Even though it was at 50%. No, it was actually at 30, but no, it was at 35. But then I went to Credo, and I arrived at Credo at 2:45. So I had so much time to hang out, and I was there till 3:30. The girl I was gonna freaking approach, I never did. I kind of feel shitty about it, but I really just didn't want to. Honestly. Dude, I can't explain it, but there's probably something deep about that I have to check out in myself. Bro, honestly. It's always those freaking thoughts saying I'm not good enough and I'm freaking nothing. It's those thoughts kind of halted me from doing such a thing. Where it's I need to be more ready. And it was in a negative way. It's not it wasn't I was genuinely freaking probably the most negative self-talk in my head I've probably ever had. But yeah. And I also, bro, hanging out with my friends is so cool. That shit was so fun. Oh my. And then I went to elementary school. I was in the high school, and for 20 to 30 minutes, I was literally just laying on the grass, just resting, and it was probably the best feeling ever. It was such a good feeling. Then I biked back, thought deeply, and now I'm here. That was brutal. That was brutal. I literally biked 75 kilometers today. I'm not resting though. No, I'm not resting. No. I know I just did all that hard work. And I actually gained nothing from it. But, it was still hard. That was definitely one of the hardest rides I've ever done. I can very safely say that. Going to Abbotsford for the first time was super hard. That one was super hard. The first one I ever did, going to Credo, was super hard. It's a feeling of being cooked 10 minutes in, and then still going for another 2 hours. But yeah, I was just like thinking, like when I was at the school, like I was just thinking to myself, like I really do not care about having fun. Like I kind of like I was kind of like ashamed of myself because I'm just wearing a mask, thinking like, you know, I'm like I don't know, I'm just like I don't like having fun, bro. I like being successful and I like working. Like I genuinely don't like having fun. And it's like nothing made me realize that more than going there. Like I never think about having fun. And it's like a lot of people talk about the fun they're gonna have, but I never do that. And it's like in 8th grade I've had that thought. The very last day of school, like I had very deep thoughts to myself. Like last day of school in grade 8. We're walking back from the assembly. I'm just having the deepest thoughts to myself, like, after I'm done with all of this, I've had my grad trip, I've had my grad trip, assembly's over, fun's ending. That, then and there, when I graduated grade 8, such a pivotal, like, one of the, probably the biggest moment in my life. Like, biggest time in my life, by far. By far. Biggest personal development, just everything. In that time, that was the big, like, graduation from grade 8 might have been, like, the biggest time of my life. Most significant time. But, yeah, I was just thinking, like, fun's gone. Like, once I graduate, once I get that freaking diploma and go back home, I'll never, like, I kind of just want to ditch having fun. You know, like, and I've like, had that mentality ever since. Like, I've never truly felt like having fun since graduation. Because it's just not in my programming. I just want to work, and I don't know. But, like, yeah. Yeah, I just, like, I literally, like, was, like, thinking to myself, but like, oh yeah, I'm just like so not ready. Like, I'm wildly not ready to like take on something seriously. Like, I'm just wildly not ready. Like, I'm just not like successful enough to do such a thing. And it's like, I don't even say successful, like, I don't even say I need to be rich. I need to be valuable. If I'm not valuable, like, dude, I've locked in and done harder things, and pursued wisdom and knowledge more than anyone else I know. There's nobody I know who's been more dedicated than I am. Literally no one. It's a weird feeling of knowing nobody who has tried harder than you. But I don't know anyone who is locked in and sacrificed their entire life more than I have for the pursuit of wisdom and knowledge and success. But I just don't feel like I don't feel complete. Not at all. It just like kind of like makes me like love Jesus even more. It's like Jesus like came here so we can literally just give our lives to him and like intake his love. And like introducing someone to like that love is just so good. But I don't think I've obligated enough to God to ever like, you know, go into a relationship. I don't think I've obligated enough to him to introduce somebody to the love of Jesus. But Yeah. I'm gonna have some food. I'm gonna go on my computer and I'm gonna film some stuff. I'm gonna film on my computer. Okay, I had some food. I'm going in the hot tub. When I'm done going in the hot tub, I don't know what I spent like 40 minutes. My camera screen recording works fully now. I just figured out how it works. Just like a little tiny little detail I missed. But I'm done recording. Holy, I think I literally recorded for an hour. On something that should have taken like a couple minutes. I don't know if we'll put it on this channel. Sure, I'll put it on this channel. I just need a longer video. Like, I think, well, how long was my other video? Like, 20 minutes? Yesterday's video. Too bad my phone died. I would have gotten such good content if my hangout with my buddy my phone hadn't died. But, yeah. It's getting to be a bad habit. It was because I don't have auto lock. Yeah, but I've been trying to fix it by turning off my data and Wi-Fi. I gotta get better at it though. Yeah. That's about it. Get back. It's funny how I just spent I spiked to 75k today and still working. Thank God. This is finally working. Okay. I'm not in the mood. By the way, I'm not in the mood to film. But this is what I was thinking about when I was on my bike ride and when I spent like 30 minutes on the grass. So I wanted basically just to explain a whole bunch of people who became successful, and these are the ones I probably like. Obviously, there's so many other ways you can become successful, but I find these ones the most common. Um, let's start out with myself. My beginning of my journey started on insecurity and teachings from mainly just people online, like guys like Andrew Tate and Patrick David were kind of the starting ones between like Andrew Tate's the one who introduced me to a side of God that I've never seen before, introduced me to wisdom. So that would be like kind of like my teacher. And then from him, whoever he would do a podcast with, whatever book he would recommend, whoever he would work with, I would watch them too to get more wisdom. And I became super, super thirsty for knowledge and wisdom. As thirsty as a kid in Africa, as thirsty as a dog on a long day in the kennel. I was possessed just to get knowledge and wisdom because of the stuff he said. And just to have a mind so complex that any question that comes your way, no matter how hard it is, you can answer with such precision and such accuracy. Answer like you're a warrior, if you know what I mean. Insecurity, I was like super insecure on like what girls would have thought of me. Like, although I didn't like, I knew it at the time, but I didn't really grasp how insecure I really was. And it's like still something I struggle with today, like massively. Insecurity about so many things too, like your self image, like every single word you say, like even like in a conversation with guys, like don't want to say stupid shit, but I end up hiding who I am inside, or just not talking to people because if somebody knew who you were, the more information you give out about yourself, the more people realize you're a disgusting piece of crap. And yeah, that's like a lot of times I'm quiet. Deep down, I kind of know it's probably because I'm actually like not a good human being to be hanging out with, just out of care for the other person, or like even like the fact that I don't control my own mind. All this like self doubt makes me want to try harder. But sometimes insecurity can be a good thing, but sometimes insecurity can beat you down. But most of the times, this insecurity morphed into something else. It morphed into confidence of oneself. For example, David Goggins. Let's just go down the list. David Goggins, um he was super fat. His dad used to beat him a lot. His mother was pretty absent. I think his mother was literally a teenager when she had him. Like I think she was literally like 16 when no, I think she literally had David got she literally birthed the kid at like 13 years old or 14 years old. If I might be wrong though. But yeah, and he was fat, out of shape at 19. Then he sees a Navy SEAL video and he's like, only if I could do that. He's like, I'm a freaking piece of shit. And he's like, I think it was like the first time he really admitted it and was truthful with himself. So like he didn't want to. He didn't feel secure. Keep being that version of himself he didn't want to be. He didn't want to sit with a pile of crap. So he fixed his scenario. And that's why I put him on fed up with his situation, fed up at the bottom, because he was at the bottom. Not much like he was down in the dumps. Like very safe to say that. Drip King, he used to be addicted to pornography, and he used to sleep around, go to the club, and then, but he felt dull doing it. I don't know his story too well though, so I don't have enough information to speak up on it. And he was out of shape, but then he got in shape. He's out of shape and he watched a lot of pornography. How to Beast is the same, pretty much the same story. I know much more about his story though. He was a nerd. He had no friends. He was one of the best gamers in the world at some Call of Duty game. He is basically 20, like from teenage years to 23. He was a complete loser. Bottom of being a loser. Full scale porn addict. His body was not nearly in shape. He was super insecure because he got kicked off of his basketball team. Um, all his friends were getting laid, and he was like the only one who hadn't been laid for like 5 years, just because he couldn't talk to women. Um, all his friends were losers as well. Everything about that guy's life. But then he started the YouTube channel, and he basically just fixed his life. He started out bad. This guy, I couldn't explain it, but he started out bad. And he admits everything. I respect so much because every single video this guy makes, he doesn't even hide the stuff he doesn't even try to hide the stuff he has atrocities he's committed. And his story truly proves that even if you're down in dumps, you could still get up. And it took him a very long time to get him where the place he's at now. Like, don't get me wrong. It took him so long. But he did it. He did it. And definitely one of the most motivating stories you'll see. Recommend searching up his channel. He does vlogs now mostly, and I do not care about his vlogs, bro. I think he just makes content for himself, honestly. I would kind of like want to make videos like he does. Maybe a little different, but maybe first half of the video do life lessons, and then second half of the video do vlogs. But I don't have this channel. I don't have my channel to get views. It's just for myself. Hamza, porn addict. Oh, complete porn addict. Sleeping around with women, but he wasn't like. He still got with women. But sleeping around, all his friends were losers, just like normally. Wait, actually, I don't think he had friends. No, he had no friends for like a while. And he would just go to the club every day. And actually, I'd almost put family on here, but not really. Maybe because his more recent videos talking more about family. But Hamza, he was a teenager. While he was a teenager, he was cadet. but it didn't really take him anywhere. And he basically just lives like every other teenage boy. Like, literally, most relatable content you'll ever see. If you watch Hamza, it's the most relatable stuff you'll ever see. Only guys would know about what he's talking about. That I can guarantee you that. Girls, if a girl watched Hamza's videos, she would not know anything about. She would be so confused. I'm like, women just wouldn't understand Hamza. But this guy has experienced every single thing a teenage boy's experienced. Every single thing. Addicted to video games, and then he was at a job, and it was like a second, third job, I think. And he asked a woman who was like 26, he's like, "How long have you been working here?" She said like 6 years now, and she said it with complete depression. And he was like, "Yikes! I'm not spending my entire life just working. I need some purpose. I need to get out of this rat race." You know, and like realizing his dad came all the way from Pakistan, and he actually was super wealthy in Pakistan, to sacrifice it all and go to the UK where he would be poor in the UK. And I'm not like you know like failing everyone else around him. But yeah, it's like, how do your future self think of you? Chris Williams, I actually don't have enough information to speak on Chris Williams' story. I do watch him a little bit, not like a year ago, 2 years ago. I've only watched like 3 of his podcasts. I don't know enough about him. Alex Hormozy, I know a little bit about him. I don't know enough about him. I know like he was super broke with his girlfriend, but his girlfriend, probably one of the best women you could have. But um, yeah, he started a gym, and he like 13 of his first businesses failed. He had multiple times where he's thousands upon thousands of dollars in debt, but he was like a man possessed. I would almost put Alex Hormozy in the love category, because he truly loved the game. Michael Jordan, he got rejected. I don't know much about his story, but he was rejected from his his high school never recruited him, and he just wanted to prove everyone wrong. You don't talk shit to him. And like a big part of his mentality is like, nobody tells me what I can't do, because I can do everything. Napoleon, insecure, majorly in he wasn't really insecure, mainly just insecure on like the royalty side, between talking to his generals and aristocratic woman. He was very insecure. I'd say he would have been insecure about, and insecure that he's gonna be like the next Alexander. Like he's not successful enough. He hasn't had good enough of a story. I'd almost put him at the love category as well, because he truly loved writing his own story and having the most lore possible. Family, I would definitely not. I was almost gonna put it there because his mother he loved, but I don't think his mother had any influence on his career at all. And maybe teacher a little bit, because he was like a very good he read a lot of books by like Alexander the Great and all the Greek philosophers when he was a teenager. Theodore Roosevelt, he went to war a whole bunch of times, and same thing as Napoleon. He wanted to write himself a story that would be super good. He wanted dad lore. I don't know too much about him though. Abraham Lincoln, don't know about enough about. Okay, family. Andrew Tate is number one on this list for a reason. He is like this probably applies to him most, but his father, huge influence on his life, and his brother. I could not explain to you how much his family would have influenced him, but he had a brother that probably spent 90% of his life with, and his father, which taught him everything he knows today. And his father was ex-CIA. He traveled all across Europe for chess. You know, Tate is probably one of the most important things to him. He said, I have an obligation to God. I have an obligation to the Tate last name. I have an obligation to myself and the people around me. It's his last name is one of the most important things to him. John D. Rockefeller, his father was absent, but his father was he was a very interesting guy. He would come play tricks on his kids to make them have more wit, manipulate his kids so they can get smarter. Turned out to be a really good decision. Very weird guy, but he was falsely accused of rape, so obviously that affected his status as a father. I don't know. I think he was innocent though. His mother was broke. He was so poor that he literally 60-year-old John D. Rockefeller provided for his mom on a farm. His mom he had to provide for his mom at 6 to 9 years. I think it was yeah, 6 to 9 years old, and his mom had a huge play. 100% had a huge play on his life and career. When he was 9 years old, I would actually put him on Insecurity as well. Or angry, no, actually not Insecurity. No, definitely not Insecurity. I already thought about this, but Angry and Fed Up, 100% put John D. Rockefeller on the Angry and Fed Up, because when a cameraman was taking photos of the kids in his class, this is back in the 1840s. In the 1840s, getting a photo was one of the most important things you could do in your entire life. Taking a photo was life altering. So his school was taking photos of the kids. They're taking class photos, and the photographer told him to get out of the picture because his clothes looked too shabby, and he was fuming from that. And he promised to himself he'd become the world's richest man. And partly because he wanted the photo for his mother, and Angry and Fed Up. They just fed up. Patrick Bet David family, his father was being insulted. Father couldn't afford health care. They had to flee Iran. They seeked refuge in Germany for 2 years. I'd also put him in Fed Up and Angry. Um, yeah, a lot more people should be put in Fed Up and Angry, but yeah, he and crying in his car, and then his mom calls him, and he says, "God, if you are real, have my mom call me." And then his mom called him. Donald Trump, his father had definitely a huge play in his success, 100%. Not much explaining to do there. His father was already in real estate. He was around the money. He was around the business as a kid. Like as a kid, he was around the job sites. He knew the minds of the workers when he was a kid, and he also went to military school. Very good staging grounds for a successful person. Really seeing the core of capitalism, and really seeing the core of discipline. Ayman Gadzahi, his mother was poor. At I think 14 years old, he promised to his mother that they would be rich, and he would buy them a new house and a Porsche, I think it was, and then he actually did it. Because I think his dad was gone. I think he was the only kid, and it was just him and his mom, and his mom was in shambles. Cristiano Ronaldo, his father, I think, had a big impact on him. He interviewed with Piers Morgan. He is tearing up when he saw his father. I don't know too much about Ronaldo's story, but family definitely had something to do with it. 100%. Andrew Carnegie, his mother went from Scotland. I think his father stayed to Scotland to work or something. No, I'm not sure who his father was, but I know he came from Scotland, had a very very had it very rough. I think his mother died when he was young. I'm not sure though. And I think he was alone inside of America at like 20 years old and had to figure it out himself. Then found a couple of mentors who helped him out. Genghis Khan, a very big family guy. Um, his parents kind of died right away from a raid from another tribe. It was just him and his two brothers and his sister, I think, who were living in the mountains of Mongolia for like 2 years, and he left, and that's based. His family definitely motivated him. I forget his exact story though. He spent like no, he spent a very long time with his siblings as teenagers, just surviving in the mountains of Mongolia. And his whole determination was to bring them food and get them powerful. So I think he infiltrated a tribe and then tricked them into like attacking the people who attacked his father and mother. And I know, I think his mother was like Ard or something. So he wanted revenge, and then he absorbed the other tribes and absorbed the other tribes. But yeah, it stemmed from family, 100%. Julius Caesar, I'm not sure. ChatGPT just said that. Khabib, 100% Khabib. His father was his coach. His father taught him probably most of the stuff he knows today. And his brother was probably a very big motivator. And his entire family is full of killers, complete fighters. Angry Vladimir Lenin. Oh, Vladimir Lenin was fed up with uh I mean, I don't feudalism, I guess, and fed up with the state Russia was in, so he wanted to restore Russia under communism. Grant Cardone, don't know enough about him to form an opinion. Um, Conor McGregor, I think he was like broke, completely like broke on welfare or something. Not too sure. Goggins already talked about him. The Mustache Man, I think you know who I'm talking about. Mother died. When his mother died, he I would also put love on there. A little bit of love, but more fed up. Um, he was angry about the state of Germany. He's angry about the Great Depression because the stuff that had happened to Germany was completely unfair. It was completely unjust, and it was probably one of the worst countries on the entire planet. It was hell. Living in Germany back then was hell. So when his mother died, combined with the loss of World War One and the crippling of the nation, on top of that, the Great Depression made him angry, and that anger turned into a success for him. Benito Mussolini. Oh, this is. I think he was a school teacher. He's an elementary school teacher. He wanted to evade military service, but he went to jail in Switzerland, and then went back to being an elementary school teacher, got thrown in jail again. Radical socialist, and then he was anti-war at the start of World War One, and then he turned to being pro-war because it could bring the socialist revolution to the entirety of Europe. So he's a lot like Vladimir Lenin, I would say. So then when Italy got on, so he was fed up that Italy had won World War One. Italy won World War One, but they were ripped off by the peace treaty because the lands that they were promised were never given to them. So when he could say he could fix everything, people believed him, even though he didn't. He was probably a very incompetent leader. Andrew Tate, we already talked about. Love Mahatma Gandhi. I know I spelled his name wrong. Sorry. He loved India. He loved India, and that's why. Silent movement. I don't really know much about him. Mother Teresa loved homeless people. Loved kids who were unfortunate. Gave them food. Gave them everything she had. Joan of Arc, love for France, love for the French people. Mr. Beast, Jimmy Donaldson, love for YouTube. Yeah, there's complete love for YouTube. Dude, he was a teen when he was a teenager. This guy had no friends. He had no life. He had no hope of going to college. His mother was bankrupt and economically suffering from the 2008 financial crisis. And he was basically her only asset. And he was like people thought he was a loser, but he really was. He was never a loser. Jimmy Donaldson was never a loser. He was always a winner. It's just people had not known how truly dedicated he was and how much he really wanted to fix his life, fix the life of his mother, fix the life of the people around him, and how much he truly loved the people around him and truly loved making videos. Love is 100% on Mr. Beast. And he still does it. He still gives money away. I mean, you can call it narcissistic. He's not very, I don't think he's very authentic. I mean, no, it doesn't take a smart person to realize that not all of it's genuine. And it's not all of it's like voluntarily, like obviously he's doing it to get views. But that doesn't make it a bad thing. That totally does not make it a bad thing. The No Leg Preacher, don't know his story. I actually forget his story. Kanye West, he loved his mom. Um, he loved this people, like he lived this on the streets. He loved his own destiny, his own journey. He loved music. He loved God. He loved uh, positivity and love is his entire message, pretty much. Genuine, like love for the audience, love for everything. The fact, like, just the love for everything is what made Kanye West so good. Henry Ford, his love for his wife, his love for machinery too. His love for machinery and genuine and love for genuinely improving people's lives is what got Henry Ford there. Genuine love is what got Henry Ford successful. Yeah, his wife, probably the only person on this entire thing that his wife actually is a big factor to his success, which is very beautiful. Teacher myself, I'd say the teacher would have been Andrew Tate because he's the first one to introduce me to wisdom that I hadn't yet known. A version of God that I had never seen before is the best way I can describe it. That got me obsessed with who God is. Andrew Tate got me obsessed with who God is and the mysteries of God. Alexander the Great, he had Aristotle. It's pretty self-explanatory. Steve Jobs, not sure who he learned from. Tony Robbins, not sure. I got those two off ChatGPT, not gonna lie. Teacher Elon Musk, when Elon Musk was a teenager, he would read books from like, I think his favorite book was a traveler's guide through the hitchhiker's guide through the universe. And he read Aristotle, he read Marcus Aurelius, he read Friedrich Nietzsche, Niccolo Machiavelli, Schopenhauer. He read all the philosophers when he was a teenager, before he was like from the ages of like 14 to 17, when he was in South Africa, all he did was read, all he did was learn. Before 17, he went to San Francisco and then got into business. Plato learned from Socrates. Yeah, this is like the entire thing. I hope that was like a good. Actually, I just want to give my opinions. Family, honestly, like for myself, I don't think family has been a part of my success like at all. I think like love for my brother, like my the middle child has definitely impacted my life like a lot from when I was little. Um, and like probably my mom from like when I was little impacted a lot, but as of recently, they've only dragged me down. I feel like I'm just being real. I'm just being real. Insecurity, 100% for myself. Like, bro, 100%. Self-image, how people view me. I'd always talk about in grades 7 and 8 how I did not care about what people thought of me, but as I got older, I kind of like started to care again subconsciously. I had no idea it was a problem until like of recent. And it's just like I want lore in my life. It was more at the time was more like I want more lore in my life. I don't like how boring my life is. It needs to be more interesting. 2023 is going to be a crazy year, I kept on saying to myself, and it was probably the craziest year ever. And then my life just got increasingly more crazy from there. Like 2024 was a crazy year. 2025 was an absolutely crazy year. 2026 has been an absolutely crazy year. My entire life since being insecure about my life being too boring has been way too interesting. A certain girl, I won't say her name, made me fucking insecure so bad. Angry and fed up. Um, a little bit. I'd say a little bit. More stemming from insecurity though. Love. I think I could be on there. Love for wisdom, love for knowledge, like love for God, like love for just like people in general. Like I just see people and I love them. Like I just want the best for everyone. Like if I see a fat person, I genuinely want them to get in shape. That's love. Like that. I'm not gonna say that's love because love is many things, but that's a part of love. Like I know that like loving God is the most important thing. If he's not number one, if you love yourself too much, you're gonna end up a narcissist and you're gonna end up destroying everything around you. If you love other people too much, you end up being a people pleaser and you end up being insecure and you end up destroying yourself. And if you and like if you love God first and then other people, you put yourself last. But I think it should be God, then the people around you, and then yourself. But have a high level of love. Because if that love for yourself is super important, because if you're spending 8 hours a day working on yourself and 2 hours a day talking to other people, people will like you more than if you talk to people 8 hours a day and then work 2 hours on yourself. Because people like talking to like a professional. People like talking to somebody important. People like talking to somebody who can genuinely benefit them and is genuinely interested in them. A very people love talking to competent people who genuinely care about them. Uh, Teacher already explained this one. Okay, I'm gonna end the recording. Okay, Matthew 7. Judging others. Judge not, for that ye may be judged. For with the judgment you will pronounce, you will be judged. And with the measure you use it, will be measured to you. Why do you see the speck? Why do you see the speck in your brother's eye and do not notice the log in your own eye? Or how can you say to your brother, "Let me take the speck out of your own eye," when there is a log in your own eye? You hypocrite! Take the log out of your own eye, and then you'll see clearly, and take the speck out of your brother's eye. Do not give dogs what is holy. Do not throw your pearls before pigs, lest they trample them underfoot and turn to attack you. Ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you shall find. Knock and the door shall be opened to you. For everyone who asks receives, and the one who seeks finds, and the one who knocks it will be opened. Or which one of you, if his son asks him for bread, will give him a stone? Or if he asks for a fish, give him a serpent? If you then, who are evil, know how to give your gifts to your children, how much more will your Father who is in heaven give good things to those who ask him? The golden rule. So whatever you wish that others would do to you, do to them also. Do also to them. For this is the law and the prophets. Enter by the narrow gate, for the gate is wide and easy, and it leads to destruction. And those who enter it are many, but for the gate is narrow, and the way is hard, that lead to life, and those who find it are few. Beware of false a tree and its fruits. Beware of false prophets, who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly are ravenous wolves. Who you will recognize them by their fruits. Are grapes gathered by thorn bushes, or figs from thistles? So every healthy tree bears good fruit, but the diseases of the bad tree, the diseased tree bears bad fruit. A healthy tree cannot bear bad fruit, nor can a diseased tree bear good fruit. Every tree that does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. Thus you will recognize them by their fruits. I never knew you. Not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven, but the one who does the will of my Father who is in heaven. On that day many will see me. Lord, Lord, did we not prophesy in your name? Did we not cast out demons in your name? Did we not do mighty works in your name? And then I will declare to them, I never knew you. Depart from me, you workers of lawlessness. Build your house on the rock. Everyone then who hears these words of mine does them will be like a wise man who builds his house on a rock. And the rain fell, and the floods came, and the winds blew, and beat on that house, but it did not fall. But it has been founded on the rock. And everyone who hears these words of mine and does not do them will be like a foolish man who builds his house on the sand. And the rain fell, and the floods came, and the winds blew, and beat against that house, and it fell. And great was the fall of it. The authority of Jesus. And when Jesus finished these sayings, the crowds were astonished, and he was teaching them as one who had authority, and not as their scribes. Jesus cleansed the leopard. When he came down from the mountain, great crowds followed him. And behold, a leopard came to him and knelt before him, saying, Lord, if you can make me clean, Lord, if you will, you can make me clean. And Jesus stretched out his hand and touched him, saying, I will be clean. And immediately his leprosy was cleansed. Jesus said to him, See that you say nothing to anyone, but go show yourself to the priest, and offer the gift that Moses commanded for a proof of them. The faith of the centurion. When he had entered Capernaum, a centurion came forward, appealing to him, Lord, my servant is paralyzed at home, suffering terribly, and said to him, I'll come and heal him. But the centurion replied, Lord, I am not worthy to have you come under my roof, but only say the word, and my servant will be healed. For I too am a man under authority with soldiers under me. And I say to one, Go, and he goes, and to another, Come, and he comes, and to my servant, Do this, and he does it. When Jesus heard him, he was marveled, and said to those who followed him, Truly I tell you, with no one in Israel have I found such faith. I tell you, many will come from the east and west and incline at table with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven, while the sons of the kingdom will be thrown into utter darkness. In that place there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. And to the centurion Jesus said, Go, let it be done for you as you have believed, and the servant was healed at that very moment. Jesus heals many, And when Jesus entered Peter's house and saw his mother lying sick with a fever, he touched her hand, and the fever left her, and she rose and began to serve him. That evening they brought him many who were oppressed by demons and cast out by spirits with a word, and healed all who were sick. And was to fulfill what was spoken by the prophet Isaiah. He took our illnesses and bore our diseases. Now when the cost of following Jesus. Now when Jesus saw a crowd around him, and he ordered them to go over to the other side. And a scribe came up to him and said, "Teacher, I'll follow you wherever you go." And Jesus said to him, "Foxes have holes and birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man has nowhere to lay his head." Another of his disciples said to him, "Lord, let me go and bury my father." And Jesus replied to him, "Follow me and leave the dead to bury their own dead." Jesus calms the storm. And when he got into the boat, his disciples followed him. And behold, there was a great storm on the sea, and the boat was being swamped by waves. But he was asleep, and they went and woke him, saying, "Save us, Lord, we are perishing." And he said to them, Why are you afraid, are you of little faith?" Then he rose and rebuked the winds and the sea, and there was a great calm. And the men marveled, saying, "What sort of man is this, that even the winds and the sea obey him?" Jesus heals 2 men with demons. And when he came to the other side, to the country of Gadaras, 2 demon-possessed men met him, coming out of the tombs, so fierce that no one could pass that way. And behold, they cried out, What have you to do with us, O Son of God? Have you come here to torment us before the time?" Now a herd of many pigs were feeding at some distance from them, and the demons begged him, saying, "If you cast us out and send us to the herd of pigs, into the herd of pigs." And he said to them, "Go." So they came and went into the pigs, and behold, the herd of pigs rushed down into the steep bank in the sea and drowned in the waters. The herdsmen fled, and going into the city, they told everything, especially what he had done to the demon-possessed man. And behold, all the city came out to meet Jesus. When they saw him, they begged him to leave their region. I wanna keep vlogging. Body's fried. Body's fried. This is what I look at when I'm thinking at night. I stand here and just look. Normally not holding a camera. I stand here and look a lot. It feels like it's new every single time I come here and look. I feel like it's the thousands of times I've come to this window and just look outside to this. It never feels like it's an old view. I see a new thing every single time. Feels like a fresh feeling. I know it's not exactly new, but it feels fresh every time.